For decades, Notting Hill has been famously known to be a vintage shopping destination for locals and visitors alike. This vintageness in the area has, according to many, given it its identity. There are many who argue, nevertheless, that this vintageness is no longer there. On the 15th of May, the Museum of Brands held a vintage evening inspired by Mad Men. We spoke to Teresa McCauley, organizer of the event.
Mad Men fits perfectly with our collection, which is historic packaging and advertising. People kind of look back to a time when things were better. You can see if you walk around the museum, style, it's probably the best decade, sort of 50s, 60s. It was the most colourful, it was a time when things were changing.
Statistics by Ivy's World show that the vintage industry has experienced impressive growth throughout the last years.
What attracts me about vintage style is the cut, the quality, the fabric, the fit, absolutely everything. The fact that you can make an item your own, the fact that you will only find one item, it will be unique and it will give you individuality.
Notting Hill again is, it's beautiful, well kept, with lovely painted houses. It's lovely to come here.
Shop owner Ignacio Jefferson has his own impressions on Notting Hill.
It's just grew from the love and passion of dressing people up, and I love collecting rare pieces. I've kind of managed to maybe maintain a little bit of that character from before, because I've been here for, let's say, about 25 years. So I remember Notting Hill when it had that character of coming here to find the most unusual vintage pieces.
Yeah, this is where we buy all our clothes, charity shops. I think it is a vintage area. I remember Notting Hill when I was a kid in the early 60s, when Carnival first started, when people didn't have anything except style.
It was the most eclectic and most unusual place to come to. Very cosmopolitan because of the mix of all sorts of people, which it still has, but I think when you came here many years ago, you never knew what you found. Whereas you go now, you see there's a lot of newer products and a lot of Chinese products and a lot of people out there trying to make a living, I suppose, so it's more commercial, not original and eclectic and quirky like it used to be. Personally, I like authenticity. I'd rather go for the original piece because I don't want to look like anybody else. They're mass-produced and they're maybe not made as good as the original pieces. I hope the pieces made now in China will tell a story in the future. I doubt it because I don't think they're made to last.
It has become a bit touristy. I do think it was much more original in the 80s. So I definitely feel that it has changed. It has become much more expected. People go there for that reason, but it's not actually a true sense of style.
I think of Notting Hill as more Georgian in its style. It's simply, maybe there's that sort of 60s vibe. I don't think of it as vintage.
What people think of as London, Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts and all that, and it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the city, but it's incredibly rich. I wouldn't say it was particularly edgy anymore. There are far too many designer stores that look vintage but are in fact not at all. It's history and it's quite bohemian, but like a lot of London, it's changing pretty rapidly.
Whether you agree or disagree on Notting Hill's vintageness, there is no denying the rich cultural and historical heritage present among the pastel buildings, market stalls, private gardens, and modern design shops. However present or imagined, this romantic idea of the past has turned the iconic town into a style mecca.
What is style? What is fashion? What is vintage?